Okay, next up, targeting Russia's economy, exposing vulnerabilities. Of course, in this segment where we pull back the curtain on the so-called quiet war being waged in boardrooms, think tanks and the financial ministries, a war that dresses itself as economics but functions as strategy. Let me be blunt. A recent report from a prominent American think tank is not an objective study. It's a playbook. It maps the pressure points that Western planners believe will force Moscow to the bargaining table, or, failing that, to collapse from within. Here's the uncomfortable truth. They admit in plain language sanctions alone didn't break Russia. Far from it. Moscow adapted. It ramped up defense production, found workarounds for restricting imports, kept oil revenues flowing, and leaned on new partners. In short, the punitive measures have had the opposite effect. They've helped consolidate domestic support and fuel a wartime economy. So what does these strategists identify Russia's weak spots? They list 4. 1. Oil price vulnerability. A big dip in global oil prices in 2025-26 would bite Russian revenues hard. That's why many Western planners hinge on manipulating energy markets indirectly to make sanctions stick where sanctions failed. 2. Foreign currency dependency. The ruble's relative stability still depends on the steady inflows of dollars and euros. Disrupt those channels and you create real pressure. 3. China's role. Beijing's support for Moscow is the single biggest wildcard. Western planners openly discuss ways to de-incentivize Chinese assistance, which, if successful, could isolate Russia economically. 4. Fiscal strain from military subsidies. Heavy state support for defence firms inflates the budget. Over time, that can sap public spending for other priorities and create cracks in social cohesion. Now, note the plan's logic. Immediate collapse proved unrealistic, so the strategy shifts to attrition. Not shock and awe, but slow surgical pressure intended to erode the economy and, crucially, social stability. That means targeting salary streams, supply chains, and everyday economic lifelines of communities that support the war effort. In their calculus, social unrest is a variable path to regime change. That's cold, and that's deliberate. This is a hybrid warfare, sanctions, financial chokes, and engineered strain wrapped in the language of policy papers. It's an attempt to weaponize economics and weight. But let's push back with facts the papers leave out. Russia's wartime mobilization of industry has been extensive. New supply chains, substitution for imports, domestic retooling. These are not incidental. They're structural adjustments, and societies under pressure can respond with cohesion, not collapse. National narratives tighten when people feel threatened. Economies adapt when their survival is on the line. So what should Russia do about this playbook? You don't beat hybrid warfare with more wishful thinking. You answer 3 ways at once: economic resilience, diplomatic diversification, and targeting countermeasures. Harden financial channels, expand trade partners who won't bend to pressure, and expose the political aim behind these sanctions. Show the public in the West that these measures are designed to break livelihoods, not restore stability. Finally, don't be fooled by timelines scribbled in think tank preferences. These plans assume a passive response, slow media cycles, and fractured democracies. But history proves that strategic coercion often produces backlash and realignment, not submission. This CIS-style blueprint is a warning, not a prophecy. It tells us of what the West wants to do. It does not tell us what will happen.